Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Girls, One Show presents American Horror Story. Tonight we're doing episodes 4 and 5 because life happens and we missed a week. I'm Trey.
And I'm Dana.
And first, I think we should start with episode 4. Dana, would you like to give us a little rundown?
Episode 4 is titled Devil's Night, and it's about really cool party they have every year at the Hotel Cortez, and all these famous serial murderers come. And this year, our friend Rob Lowe was invited, because I'm just going to call him that forever and ever.
Rob Lowe.
And yeah, he got to hang out with all these people murdering. No, they talked about their murders, and Evan Peters is their leader, and I mean, that's pretty much what I got out of it. What did you...
I got that too. I like that Evan was in a whole episode. And
I did like that.
That brought me joy to my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because we haven't had much Evan, as we've talked about before. I did not know who the night guy was, the one weird guy. I didn't know who he was.
I didn't either. I was going to look him up.
Ramirez? Was that his last name?
Yeah, his name was Ramirez. They called him something.
Night Stalker or something?
Yes, that was it.
I didn't know who he was. I knew the other ones, obviously, but I kind of wish Ted Bundy was in there.
I know, and I was so confused because I always mix up Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer, so I was...
Because I thought, like, when I saw him, I was like, oh, it's Ted. I'm all excited. And it was not Ted. It was a very, very not Ted moment.
I thought it was Ted Bundy, and it was not, and I was excited. That's funny.
I was very sad Ted Bundy.
I'm sorry I let you down.
I didn't mind the episode. I thought it was neat, different, but had nothing to do with really the plot. It was like a filler episode again.
Yeah, and I just didn't get the whole Devil's Night thing just wasn't working for me. I don't know. I mean, it was cool that all the murderers were there together, but like Mr. March is their leader. I don't know. I don't know.
Them everything they needed to know. I started watching that H.H. Holmes documentary.
I was going to ask you about that. Is it any good?
It's a long. I mean, it's not one of the most exciting documentaries I've ever watched in my life, but I didn't get to finish it because it was really long. But it was interesting, and it did talk about the hotel and all the weird contraptions he had in there, and how he was the first serial murderer.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I guess you can kind of draw a parallel to him being the leader of these guys, to him being the first serial murderer. Like, they look up to him.
That's where they're getting at. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But I don't think we should spend a lot of time on that episode because it's a filler episode. We should spend a lot of time on last night's episode, which was...
Let's do that.
Awesome.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, I did write something down from the last episode when Richie Ramirez said that Mr. March was a genius like Galileo or Peter Frampton. That was my favorite thing from that episode.
Oh my gosh, I missed that. He said like Peter Frampton? Who calls
like
him
Galileo or Peter Frampton, because they're on the same level.
That's what I think. When I think of geniuses, I think, Einstein, Galileo, and Frampton, all just right there.
That's the top 3. That's who should have been at Devil's Night, if you ask me.
Peter Frampton and Galileo, along with March and Ramirez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I like that idea.
That would have been the best episode ever, and it would have been what's her name? Who played Eileen? Lily Rabe. She probably would have been playing Peter Frampton because they always have her playing everybody.
I actually kind of liked her character. She did a good job on, but we should have brought up Charlize Theron versus Lily Rabe.
Oh, I know. We're still going to do it.
We're still going to. Next episode. Expect
who wore it better.
Expect pictures of them two together. So last night's episode did not disappoint for once. It felt really Murder House-ish to me.
There were a lot of parallels to Murder House, and there were blood packet juice boxes. That kind of made me happy.
I mean, it brings up the notch a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I actually did not like is, so first we get, what's her name? The mom is now a vampire, and she saves the little boy with measles, which his mom's a brat, so she really shouldn't have saved him. It turns out he's a brat too. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He kills his parents because he's now a vampire. I'm sorry.
While dressed as a pirate. Dressed as a pirate.
Which is really kind of funny. I was like, why is he a pirate? I'm confused. And then he went to school and I was like, oh, Halloween. Okay. And then he gives his girlfriend vampire measles.
How old are these kids?
Thank you. 8.
When they were making out in the closet, I'm like, aren't you like 8 years old? Like,
and where's the teacher? She let her two children were missing for like, I don't know. How long does it take to make out and get measles? I'm
I mean,
unsure.
she didn't notice till like class had already started, and she looked
Take
at
out
their
your history
chairs.
books. Take out
Yeah,
your history books. Where's
it's like
Alex?
20 minutes into class. Like, hey,
The two that sit in the front row. The front
yeah,
row seats are empty. I honestly don't understand. Do not understand.
no,
So they get vampire measles, and then he kills the teacher, and she drinks it, and she's now a vampire and no longer has measles. And then
his girlfriend
his
drinks from the
girlfriend
teacher. Yeah.
drinks from the teacher. But then the whole class gets measles.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Is measles is vampire measles
Maybe
extra
it's super
contagious?
measles.
Super, yeah, or not vampire? Sorry, immortal measles.
We're calling it vampire because Lady Gaga has not shown up to kill me yet, so I think we're safe.
I hate Lady Gaga.
They fixed her eye. Somebody listened to us. Thank you.
That was like the first thing. One of the first things I texted you last night. Like somebody watches us. Someone out there.
You fixed her eyebrows. However, so yes, so there's vampire children now, and lots of them. I don't know. They only brought out 3. Alex, the girlfriend, and some other random kid that was roll up on Alex's girlfriend. So I don't know what's happening there. But there was like a whole class of them.
Yeah, yeah. And then they made up that story about someone
with a mask. Overpowering the entire school and turning people into vampires. That's what happens.
They gave a name, but I didn't hear what the name was. They made up a name for this person. But that kind of reminded me of Murder House with the school shooting and all that.
That's a good parallel. I like Murder House. We should just watch it again and review it.
I know. We should.
But then we had some good stuff happen in last episode. So Mother Dearest got to be with her boy, which is cool. I'm happy for her. I'm glad she gets to be with her son after he's been missing for 5 years. I think now they put the timeline together.
And where's their daughter?
Screw her. She's fine.
Everyone's in the hotel.
Everyone but the daughter. She loved her boy the most, and she said that multiple times. She's just a really bad mom.
I guess. Well, I hope she loves him enough to take care of that hair.
Oh, please cut it. Please. Just because you're a vampire doesn't mean you can't have style. Lady Gaga cuts her hair.
Yeah.
And dyes her eyebrows.
Yeah, repeatedly throughout the episode.
Right.
We had some eyebrow back and forth.
I think you should talk about the eyebrow parallel.
Okay, well, I just noticed when, and we'll get into this a little more, but we got some of Liz Taylor's backstory, and we get a more human version of the Countess, whose name apparently is Elizabeth, according to Wikipedia, which is always a reliable source.
Wow. Okay, you continue. I have an idea.
Okay. So Liz Taylor, yeah, the Countess comes to help Liz Taylor find her true self, who is Dennis O'Hare, in case you don't know that. And at that time, her eyebrows are brown or black or something. So she's more human. She's more, you can relate to her. Like all the time she has like the creepy blonde, like completely invisible eyebrows. She's detached and alien.
You called her alien. Yeah.
Alien, yeah. Creepy, like extra creepy. But when she kind of tones it down a bit, we get, eyebrows. And I think that's interesting because like you can tell, I mean, I don't know, eyebrows do a lot for the human face.
They do.
That's the moral of this story.
The moral of the story. I really liked the backstory though of how he became his new self. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, that was really, really cool. Yeah. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
I think that, so he's a guy just living his life and he's unhappy and he wants to wear his wife's dresses when she's gone. So he's a traveling pharmaceutical salesman, I believe is what they said. Medical salesman, medical supplies to doctors. And he'll go to hotels and the first thing he does is put on his wife's clothes or clothes I guess he could have bought secretly to dress like a woman. But it's not like he is now. There's no shaved head. There's his weird hair, which I thank God they shaved that head because that hair was bothering the crap out of me.
He looks so skinny.
I know.
And the hair just made him look like more like sickly and skinny. I don't know.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that. But Gaga shows him that he can be beautiful no matter what.
Because his blood smells like a woman.
It does. But it was really touching. And that was the first time you've ever texted me anything nice about her. Ever.
But it was sweet. Like he needed someone and she was there creepily in his room without having knocked on the door, but she was there when he needed.
She was watching and smelling him from a distance. which apparently is very appropriate for what happened. But it was such a good scene, and he tells it to Kathy Bates's character, who's going through a hard time. He's basically trying to make her realize that she is a beautiful person inside as well, and she, even though she heard that story, did not get what he was saying.
No, because she said she never talked to him before, because they worked together like, what, 20 years?
Yeah, they never
She's like,
spoke.
oh, I never talked to you because I thought you were gay. He's like, I'm not gay.
Kathy Bates, we love you, but he was trying to teach you a really valuable lesson about yourself, and all you did was drink hipster blood.
I think she got it by the end.
I think she kind of did, but he was still saying to her, you're a beautiful person. Because Kathy Bates, I mean, now she looks really creepy because of the whole makeup they're doing on her and the sweaty factor.
Well, yeah, and what she was saying that she was really upset that she was trapped in this body, in this life for all of eternity. Like, that was sad. I felt sad. And he was trying to help.
It was an emotional episode. You felt really sad for the characters for once. Like, you had this really deep, like, oh wow, I really can relate to you as a whatever you are, vampire or just
as a vampire transvestite.
He's not a vampire though, remember?
Oh, that's right. He's not a vampire. That's interesting. Why didn't she change him?
I don't know.
He's the only person she's really shown any compassion to, and she didn't change him.
Does she want to keep him human?
Is it because he changed himself?
There you go. She didn't need to change him. He already found his true self.
Wow.
We're drawing some deep parallels today.
You cut to the core of me, Ryan Murphy.
He hasn't cut to our core since Tate Peters.
This is exciting. This is the first time we've had anything to actually talk about.
I know.
Usually we're just spelling out,
Milky Way commercials or Snickers commercials.
Snickers commercials, yeah.
But I really liked it. It really made them human. It made everything come together in this little nice box of she's the Countess, and yes, she's a vampire and whatever. She's evil, but she has a heart for some people that are lost. That's what she's looking for, is these lost souls. And you kind of see that. I mean, she took Kathy Bates's boy, Boomer. Donovan. What? I don't know what that is. I'm Boomer.
We'll call him Boomer. Boomer and Rob Lowe.
Boomer and Rob Lowe. She took him, and she made him immortal as he was dying. She did it to what's the other one's name they all look identical to me with the red streak in his hair? Dandy. She did it to Dandy.
Tristan Duffy.
I
don't know why I know that.
I don't know why I can't remember them. I love their names. I cannot remember them. But she did it to him, and he was like this lost drug addict sort of soul.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she's just trying to help people find goodness in themselves in a different way.
Yeah. Well, and maybe that's the only way to save certain people. If they're, she saved Liz in a different way, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
We're giving her human qualities.
We're trying.
We'll have to watch episode where she and Angela Bassett, they had the big record room shootout, and see what color her eyebrows were. Because she was very human in that scene.
Yeah.
She was very upset that she was left.
Yeah. I'm curious now. I mean, they're definitely doing that on purpose. Because when she's very stoic and almost all the time they're blonde. And that just you can't relate to her at all.
No, because she looks fake.
Like she does in her everyday existence.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Gaga.
Sorry, Gaga. We like your eyebrows to be darker, please. We respect you, but your eyebrows need to be darker. Thanks.
I'm going to have to go through her entire music video library and see if the songs I like collaborate with her eyebrows.
We're going to have to this is a task for us for next week.
We should just do a whole series on Gaga.
Or
not, because that sounds terrible and painful. But
it does. I don't like this idea at all. Where are you going? But one thing I can say is, so her name's Elizabeth, and I completely missed that.
Oh.
However, at least I learned this in Vampire Blood in the Empire, the first vampire female was named Elizabeth, and she bathed in the blood of princes and princesses, and she bathed in their blood to stay young forever.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think it was Elizabeth, starts with an R, but I'll look it up for next time. But that's who the first vampire was in certain mythologies and certain lore history. Not Vlad, but her.
Did you learn this in Twilight?
I learned this in Vampire Blood of the Empire, a class at Pitt. Twilight. You know what I learned from Twilight is I hate Twilight even more than before. Have you finished that stupid book yet?
Yep. I finished them both. Again.
Okay,
I'm like vampire
two
now.
girls, one book. Because we're going to be two girls, one booking that forever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be a long one.
Yes.
It's going to involve throwing things.
Honestly, Ryan Murphy, kudos on this last episode.
Keep them coming. Impressed. Oh, the pate cat food? Can we talk about the pate cat
Please
food? Do. I just liked it because the hipsters were demanding that they wanted like pate. Well, first they wanted like cooked leaves or something that hipsters
grilled
eat.
romaine.
Yeah, whatever's part of a hipster diet. And then they were okay with pate, and Liz Taylor like smeared cat food all over the plate. I loved it.
And they're like, "Oh, this isn't actually that bad." And I was like, "Oh, Blaine, Darian Cross."
I texted Tara that. I'm like, "Oh, look, it's Blaine," and I'm like, "Trey just told me that. I didn't really know that."
I was like, "It's Blaine. You ate cat food, then you died with a knife in your spine like 17 times." Kathy, he got it. He's dead.
Oh, and then she slit his throat just for good measure, you know.
It's easy to get the blood out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to suck from the spine. I mean, there's no good angles. And
yeah. And they drank their fancy wine.
And she said she was high on edibles. I don't know who talks like that, but it was very confusing. The whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't like them. I mean, I know you're not supposed to like them, but I really didn't. Yeah.
I wanted to see Kathy take her revenge out on them.
Yeah. And she was like, "Did I go too hard on them?" And Liz is like, "No." And they just dump them down the laundry chute and drink their wine. It was great.
Seriously, all around good episode. Again, negative factor, no Evan.
And not very much Rob Lowe.
Yeah, what happened to Rob Lowe?
Do you think Rob Lowe's dead?
You know what? I'm thinking that. Because he had sex with a dead girl.
Under his murder photos.
Under his murder photos. And he had like these weird red marks on his body. Was it blood? I couldn't tell what it was, and I might have missed it, but there was like red marks on his chest.
That was, I guess she scratched him up. They had some rough sex.
I don't know how you have sex with a ghost.
I guess Uncle Scar's baby mama knows.
She knows. We should ask her. At least she can't get pregnant. At least there's no more ghost babies.
She's not a vampire, right? She's just dead.
She's dead. She's dead.
So many people hang out in this hotel.
One thing I was confused about, and we can probably bring this up next time once we think about it a little more. All these people die in this hotel because they're killed by the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they're killed by. They're killed by a lot of stuff. Why is Sally the only one that's dead and alive around the hotel? And Evan.
They're the only ones that are dead and what?
And walking around through the hotel.
Oh.
Like all the other bodies disappear. And she said to Kathy Bates, "Don't have any regrets and let everything go and you'll be gone." You cannot tell me that if you're being killed by a vampire in any way, shape, or form, you have no regrets and you're going to pass on freely. That hotel should be packed to the brim with dead people.
Do you think it depends on where well, I think we talked about this a little bit, like with the murder house. Like, do you know which room Mr. March died in?
Maybe. He died in the basement, right?
I think so.
I don't know. It just seems weird to me. Maybe you're right. It has to be room proximity. But I don't know. Sally fell out the window.
Sorry, Steve has Tosh on, and I just need to not look at it because it's making me make faces.
Tosh is awesome.
Okay, so March died in the basement, and Sally died...
She got pushed out the window by Kathy Bates.
That's right. Unless those are not considered in the hotel. Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird. I'm confused by that because you can't have... I mean, some of them aren't killed instantly. Some of them, like the two girls at the beginning that were sitting there for days, then drained of their blood, you can't say that they wouldn't have any pent-up anger before they died. I don't know. I kind of want them to bring it a little bit full circle.
And the thing is, like with him, you don't know if they will.
These just questions. We're going to make a board. Top 10 questions about this show. And then every week we're going to see if we answer it. and I guarantee we might not answer any of them.
We need to work on this. Yeah.
This is very important.
I'm writing it down. Can you see me writing it down right now?
I see you writing it down. If you have any questions out there, viewers,
yes,
put them in the comments and we will put them on the board. It could be more than 10. It might be 50 by the time we're done with this season.
It's going to be a lot. Yeah, we need a dry erase board.
We will. I have a dry erase board. I have a big one.
Nice.
We'll write it on there and I'll hold it up behind me like Wayne's World.
Party time, excellent.
Any other closing remarks about the last 2 episodes?
Have you read Candide by Voltaire?
I have not.
Because that's what Liz Taylor was reading, and I was wondering if it had any importance.
We should read it. We're done reading the Twilight books.
We're never reading those again. Please don't ever make me read those again.
What did you make me read?
50 Shades of Grey.
I made you read Twilight. Not the same. They're 2 different planes of horrible.
I don't know. They're pretty... I mean, Grey is based on Twilight.
Which makes it worse. It's fan fiction.
We should write some fan fiction of Grey.
We should. Featuring Lady Gaga as the Countess. Switch the roles up.
Oh my gosh. Yep. We're doing it.
We have lots of tasks. And Dana takes great notes, so that's the only way I'm going to know how many tasks we have. Thank God.
Here's the note.
See, that's what we have to do between this week and next week.
It's going to be a busy week.
It is. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Watch episode 5 if you haven't already. Do it. It will make you very happy. If
you watch one episode this season, watch that one.
Yeah, it hits the feels, and you just love Dennis. He's just a great actor.
So underrated. I really love him.
He needs the headline next year.
Yeah, they need to really take advantage of having him on that cast because he's good.
They do. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.